Vicki Swan and Jonny Dyer play music for Contra Dances. Find out why there aren't more songs sung at such dances. And what is the D song? I'll share with you how a New Orleans jam session found a little gospel in an old Scottish song. It's Pub Songs and Stories, show number 243. Welcome to Pub Songs and Stories. This is the virtual public house for musicians to share the stories and inspiration behind their music with your host, Marc Gunn. Subscribe to the podcast at pubsong.com. Good day, everyone. How are you doing? Oh, I feel like need a big stretch myself. Oh, that feels good. I had a super productive day yesterday. I had a lot of little projects, but normally those things just drive me crazy. It's just like, but this time I was like, okay, I'm going to make a list of all the things that I have to do, and I'm going to check them off as I finish them. And it really helped. I did the brain dump. Let's get everything out and then do it. I didn't do that today. I should have done that today. But then again, the kids are out of school today. So it's one of these teacher work days. And so for better or worse, that means I'm home and kids are around somewhere, but I have a break. But I also have Emmy here. She's my little tabby girl who likes to play fetch. And this girl just won't leave me alone. She's constantly giving me hugs. Please play fetch with me. Okay, fine. You break me. Anyway, today's show is brought to you by my gun runners on Patreon. Thanks to Expat Fledgling, hi mom, and CeeLo, who signed up as an annual gun runner. There's a lot of new posts over on Patreon. I posted a video of my new Blink song. That's a song I wrote for the In the Verse podcast, and it's inspired by the episode Blink from Doctor Who. I love this song. One of these days I'll do a story about that. But you can just listen to the In the Verse podcast to find that. That's at fireflydrinkingsongs.com. I go into in-depth discussion about that song, so go check it out. There are also several other free MP3s, including the one I'm singing today. Upcoming shows, Coffee with the Celtfather has officially moved to Wednesdays. The next one is Wednesday tomorrow, November 10th at 11 a.m. And then, of course, again on November 17th. November 12th is the Interstellar Ginger Beer and Exploration Company in Alabaster, and I am making a trip to New Orleans. So November 13th, I'm doing a house concert in Robert, Louisiana. What are you doing today? Well, listening to Pub Songs and Stories. I'd love your thoughts and feedback. So take a picture of yourself, or where you are, or what one of these stories reminds you of. Something, just whatever. Post it on social media and use the hashtag PubStories so I can find it and share your story. I'd love to see your picture out there. And it's a great way to promote the podcast too. If you tag it at Pub Stories and you share it and say, hey, you can also tag me at Celtfather. All right, Vicki Swan and Jonny Dyer effortlessly blend traditional material with contemporary sounds. The performances showcase new interpretations of old songs alongside original self-penned tunes and new contemporary songs. They are entirely at home in the tradition. Now, if you're not familiar, songs in the folk tradition are vocal, tunes are instrumental, particularly in the Celtic music tradition. But just thought I'd point that out when they mentioned that. So original self-penned tunes, instrumental, and new contemporary songs, vocal. There you go. They also perform at Contra Dances. Contra Dance is a folk dance made up of long lines of couples. It has mixed origins from English country dance, Scottish country dance, and French dance styles in the 17th century, according to Wikipedia. My dad used to take me to some of those when I was a kid. I have loved their music for so many years. In fact, you can hear them on this podcast. I've played a number of their songs here and tunes. And my Irish and Celtic music podcast, where, again, they've been on this show since the beginning. I think it might have been even the first episode. I also have an interview and performance from them from my Celtic Invasion of Wales, and that was released on my Celtfather Music and Travel podcast. Basically, one of my Celtic Invasion vacations, we were in Wales, and I was like, I wonder where they are. And I dropped them an email, and they made a drive over to where we were staying. I can't remember the name of the location now, but They came to our little cottage and they sang songs for us, and they got to do a nice interview, and it was just amazing to meet them in person. So today, Vicki Swan and Jonny Dyer will tell you how and why they wrote their song "Jiggle the Old Bones." Let's hear the story.
Hi, we're Vicki Swan and Jonny Dyer, and we are going to talk a little bit about our song "Jiggle the Old Bones,"
which is a song that I wrote in 2019, just before the pandemic. Weird, isn't it? So we got asked to play for a Contra dance. It's New Year's Eve 2019, and although we played for quite a few Contras before that, we thought it'd be nice to create some new material. And I really liked the idea of trying to do more songs that you could dance to. We didn't know that was unusual, but we've always felt it was really nice. And of course, if you start trying to write music to order, you want to write a dance tune song for a dance, then it's inevitable that you end up writing a song about dancing, which is entirely what it is. So the conceit really is the chorus. Oh, blimey, I can never remember the chorus if I don't get to sing it. So let's dance, feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, safe away for another day and dance. Jiggle the old bones. And I'm not sure it's the sort of chorus that anybody could join in whilst they're dancing, because it's quite long and complicated. But it sums up everything that we think is right. And I think it sums up everything that we see in front of us too, particularly for Contra. We see families dance, and it is such a lot of fun for people getting together and dancing, and it's just about that. So it sets the scene. From verse 1, it sets the scene that Billy's on his way home from work, and clearly what he loves to do when he's not working is dance. And then verse 2, Jeannie, his wife, is on her way from work, and equally she has other things to worry about. She's worrying about the children, but going for a dance is where they all get together. And then there's a Sue who's starting to grow up, and she's leaving, and it's really important to her that her new boyfriend impresses the parents by being able to dance. You see a bit of a theme here. And then, of course, implied in the story is there are more kids than just Sue, but all the kids leave, and so the parents are left getting elderly by themselves. But then it's time for Christmas, and of course what happens is everybody comes home to dance. So it's a very, very happy song about being together and dancing. When we play for dance, of course, it's the wrong length because it's kind of 48 bars, so we tend to pair it with a tune set. And I'm looking at Vicki like she might remember what the tune set is.
The tune is Doodle Oak Cloggers.
Another tune about dancing. There you go. A song about dancing paired with a tune about dancing. We have done dances where people have actually sung the choruses as well, which is just glorious. Though I don't know how they manage to multitask, because I can't move my feet and speak, let alone sing and dance complicated, intricate moves. There we go. Jiggle the old bones.
Billy comes home with dirt in his hair, a stain on his shirt from he don't know where, but a smile on his face like he just don't care. And now's the time for dancing. Breaks his back, working down the mine, selling his soul for $1 and a dime, but a cup of tea and he'll be fine. And now's the time to dance, so let's dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones. Jeannie comes home from a day in town. 2 hard jobs to just hold down, but now you'll see a hint of a frown. But now's the time for dancing. Kids growing up and doing okay. Jeannie worries anyway, saves the money for a rainy day, but for now she's gonna dance. So let's dance, feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Jiggle got a brand new man, a blue-eyed boy with a Midwest tan. She said she's gonna marry him when she can, but he's gotta learn to dance for tonight. It's gonna be the first date, Mom and Dad will seal their fate, so we better scrub up and not be late, for now they're gonna dance. So let's dance, feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance, put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones. Kids are grown and left the home. Billy and Jean feel all alone. This great house won't cozy and warm, it just feels empty. Christmas time is coming soon. Now they'll need to clear the room, for everyone is coming home. Now's the time to dance, so let's dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. So let's dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones.
Jiggle the Old Bones is from their album Sleep Deprivation. Now, Vicki Swan and Jonny Dyer are full-time musicians, and like many musicians, their lives were impacted by COVID. So if you enjoyed that song, go buy the download or buy the entire album or any album. I'm not sure which one to recommend because I really love them all. But this song from Sleep Deprivation is a family favorite. It gives me a thrill every time I put it on and on my Spotify playlist, and they literally squeal with delight. They're like, "Woo, yes!" You know that feeling, and you're like, "Yes, that's awesome. I really wanted to hear that song." And it just gives them so much joy, and I love it. So, I think that pretty much sums up Vicki Swan and Jonny Dyer's music to me. Just a squeal of delight. You can find all of their music, song lyrics, sheet music, plus live streaming videos, workshops, and even a Patreon page. It's all on their website at swan-dyer.co.uk. Again, go to the show notes at pubsong.com for show number 243 to find out more. Support what you love. If this show made you happy, then join the Gunrunners Club on Patreon. Your support pays for the production and promotion of my music and this podcast. It's a great way to support me. So if you have questions or comments, drop me an email, and you can, of course, save 15%, like Chris did, with an annual membership. Next time, I have a great story from the band Coast, and they talk about a horrible accident at sea with a cowardly captain and some amazing passengers who stood up to the challenge. It's a really cool story, and stick around for next week. I will share that with you. Meantime, it's my turn to tell a story about the Mingulay boat song, which is just a fantastic song. I've heard many versions of the songs over the years, as it was popular not only among Celtic music fans, but also, among fans at the Renaissance festivals. And I don't remember where I first heard the song, probably from some pirate group or something. And sadly, iTunes is no help. My iTunes was overhauled in 2011. So the earliest version I have are by an MP3 band called Celtic Knots and the Flying Fish Sailors. And I'll be honest, neither of those versions stood out to me. I don't remember them at all. But I did record the song in 2006 or 2007 with Captain Blackjack Murphy. So, who knows? But I would imagine it's sometime around then, because I was running the Renaissance Festival podcast and I got lots of different versions of songs. So who knows? But let's start with the history of the song. Then I'll talk about my recording of it. The song was written by Sir Hugh S. Roberton in the 1930s, according to Wikipedia. Roberton was a Scottish composer from Glasgow. He founded the Glasgow Orpheus Choir, and this was a widely acclaimed choir that focused on Scottish folk, Italian madrigals, plus some works of many of Europe's most famous composers. He also wrote Westering Home and Mari's Wedding, which definitely the last one is one that stood out to me over the years. Westering Home is a fantastic song as well. And he was knighted in 1931. However I found the song, it was the summer of 2009 when I was at Jamie Haeuser's home. It was on the North Shore of New Orleans when two of her friends came over, Michael Younger and Big Jim. And we had a blissful afternoon jam session. We sang countless songs. And this is when Jamie's voice first stood out to me as sounding really good with mine. They really meshed. Johnny, I Hardly Knew Ya was one that sounded particularly good together. We loved singing that. But it was Mingulay boat song that buried itself into my mind. Jamie grew up in New Orleans. She has a particular fondness for the music of New Orleans, blues, jazz, gospel, but she's also Irish heritage, so she loved Celtic music as well. But that day, as I was singing Mingulay, Jamie did something exceptional with the song. She gave it this bluesy gospel background vocal, and it was just magical. And sometimes when you're playing music with others, you do something so special. Everyone is like overcome with joy, and you're like, oh, elation. You're like, yes, that was amazing. Yeah, And that was definitely one of those moments. I remember feeling so excited, like, what just happened? And it was just incredible. And it sat with me. We sang the song now and then, and each time we would vary things up. Each time we danced around the first time, and it was not quite there, but it was always fantastic. In 2011, I wanted to record several CDs in one sitting, and I typically record music live, just me and the auto harp, and then I layer on other instruments. And I just needed to make the time to do it. So in October the year before, my daughter Kenzie was born with a heart condition called tetralogy of Fallot. And I didn't really have much time to record while my wife was pregnant. I certainly didn't have much time after my daughter was born, so I came up with a cool idea. I would rent a house somewhere and spend all weekend recording. My wife had a friend in Lexington, Kentucky at the time, so I booked a house in January 2011. We drove up there, snow on the ground. She drove to Lexington and spent the entire day, and I recorded the music for what would eventually become 3 albums, St. Patrick's Day, Don't Go Drinking with Hobbits, and Scottish Songs of Drinking and Rebellion. And there were a lot of great tracks that came out of that recording session. That music would pretty much establish my musical style for the next 5 years. But one of the tracks, the great tracks that came out of that session, was Mingulay Boat Song. The song was played in the key of C, and the bass recording of my vocals and auto harp was really solid. It was slow and languorous and it had this much soulful, very soulful feeling. But it was the overdubs that made it stand out, and that came a little bit later, but it was totally by accident. So after I got home, I sent the tracks off to musicians to record. Daniel Briggs was my main musician for that album, and he added bass and a very simple strum pattern on the octave mandolin. He also sent some background vocals, and mostly I loved his tracks, but when I finished mixing the track, it still didn't stand out. It needed something. It needed Jamie Haeuser, or at least what Jamie did on the jam session years earlier, and she wasn't available at the time, so I thought I'd give it a try. So 2 things stood out to me. First, my USB digital interface. That's the device that goes from my microphone into my computer. It had a limiting feature, which that means if something gets too loud, the device sort of cuts off the part that peaks. And so I'm not really a techie when it comes to this sort of stuff. So I kind of randomly set it up, and the limiter was way too high for this song. If you know what you're listening for, you can hear me hit some powerful notes, and it changes the sound of the vocals a little. Different from what I was originally singing, that gives it a part of its really cool sound. So that's one of the reasons why it sounds as cool as it does. But I can't discount my vocals. I tried to imitate what Jamie had done back in 2009, and it came off just incredible. It's by far my favorite song on the album. However, it was really hard to pull off during live concerts. It took a couple years to master singing it in the same key. Frequently, I would like blow my voice by the time the song was done, and my voice is much more gruff after that. I still sometimes have that trouble. But that said, I no longer sing it in the key of C, which is the key it was recorded in. I found during live concerts, my voice was really too low to be heard easily. So it took a while, but I raised it to the key of D, even higher and more difficult to sing. But again, somehow with lots and lots of practice, that came easy too. The final thing I want to say about the song is that I frequently call it the D song. And that's because one day at the beginning of 2020, my wife called out at a brewery and said, "Play the D song," and I had no clue what she was talking about. Ironically, she had no clue the song was in the key of D, but somehow I figured out that she meant the Mingulay boat song, and that's become like an inside joke for us ever since. All right, without further ado, let me sing to you the Mingulay boat song in the key of D. This is on my CD, Scottish Songs of Drinking Rebellion. Here you go. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you again next time. Sláinte.
Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Bring her head round into the weather. Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Sailing homeward to Mingulay. What care we though white the menches? What care we for wind or weather? Let her go, boys, every inch is sailing homeward to Mingulay. Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Bring her head round into the weather. Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Sailing homeward to Mingulay. Wives are waiting by the pierhead, or looking seaward from the heather. Pull around, boys, then you'll anchor ere the sun sets on Mingulay. Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Bring her head round into the weather. Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Sailing homeward to Mingulay. Ships return now, heavy laden. Mothers holding bairns a-crying. They'll return though when the sun sets. They'll return then to Mingulay. Heal your hope, boys. Let her go, boys. Bring her head round into the weather. Heal your hope, boys. Let her to Mingulay.
Pub Songs Podcast is produced by Marc Gunn. The show is edited by Mitchell Peterson with graphics by Miranda Nelson Designs. You can subscribe and listen wherever you find podcasts. You can also subscribe to my mailing list. You will get regular updates of new music, podcasts, special offers, and you'll get 21 songs for free. Welcome to the pub at pubsong.com.